browser on your computer somewhere, click on your profile, and then copy that link that's in the browser and drop it into the LinkedIn or to the chat group today, because then we can connect with each other. And so, but also make sure that when you drop it in there, it's clickable, because we can't copy on the chat. You can't copy and paste from the chat. So if you can make it clickable, that is the easiest way for all of us to connect to each other. So there we go. Great. Thank you, Angie. Thank you, Lisa, dropping in your LinkedIn URLs. Also, one other thing as we get started, so a couple things we're having you drop in the chat today. You know, I don't know where all of you heard about Career Connectors from. I don't know where you are in your journey of career transition. Maybe you're here today just kind of looking at another opportunity. Maybe you are joining us in from a Facebook watch party and you never heard about Career Connectors before. Maybe you were invited by a friend, but regardless, I want to know, we are interested in finding out what you are hoping to accomplish or learn today. And our keynote speaker, Gregory, is going to utilize some of that information in his talk today. So if you could also drop in there, what are you hoping to accomplish today? Are you hoping to learn about your elevator pitch? Are you hoping to learn a little bit about how to tell your story? What is it you are hoping to accomplish? And drop that in there today. Maybe you're looking to talk to a company. Maybe you need some resources. But whatever you're here for today, I'm glad you're here and you're in the right place at the right time. All right. So I'm going to pass it over to Sheila, and she's going to go through a couple tech questions and issues.
Okay, good morning. Hi, I am Sheila Colum. I'm glad you're here. And if you're comfortable, turn your video on. We love to see the smiles in the morning. If you happen to be joining us on Facebook, I did put the Zoom meeting ID on the screen right now. And on Facebook, the only thing is you can't be engaging on chat. So if you're on Facebook and you want to come over and chat with us, there is the meeting ID. You're going to see a couple of times in the session some polling. And just to let you know, if you'll just answer the poll question, the window goes away as soon as you answer it. And I'm going to try to launch one while I'm talking here. There's another thing, depending on what kind of device you are using, you may have the option to change how the video screens are displayed. In other words, where the videos are and how many of them are on your screen. So there's a little toolbar on top of them that you can play with, just to let you know. And then we do have closed captioning available today. So if you're someone who would like to see the words that are being spoken as well as hear them, or in addition to having them, you can click on your toolbar where there's mute and video. Somewhere along there, there should be a closed captioning option. So you can look for that today. So thank you so much for our wonderful volunteer Tina doing that. We appreciate it. What else? So the chat, I'm sorry. I'm like managing two screens that aren't behaving. So the chat is going to be your vehicle for engagement since we can't be in person right now. So take advantage of that. And like Jessica said, make sure that you're copying the whole URL into the chat so people can click and connect with you. I think that's it. Thanks, Jessica.
Yeah, great. Okay, so good job on getting that chat rolling, you guys. All right, so today we have Beyond the Elevator speech with Gregory Gaines is our keynote today. And then we're going to hear from CarMax and all the hiring they're doing in the Phoenix area with Richard. And then Joseph is here with US Health Advisors. And at the end, we'll go through some resources for everybody and additional things that we are able to provide through this networking program. Let's see. Just wanted to mention that the chat will continue to go throughout the meeting today. And feel free to continue to chat, to connect with people, to ask questions. As our speakers are going through their talk, we're monitoring for questions in there, and we will stop and we will, when they're done speaking, and we will engage in that and ask them some of those questions. So we want to make sure you all feel heard, and feel free to go ahead and write questions in there anytime. All right, so let's get started with Gregory. Gregory Gaines is GKG Marketing, provides business consulting services and coaching to individuals in career transition. A former corporate executive who transitioned to business and leadership coaching, Greg Gaines runs GKG Marketing and is especially passionate about working with business professionals who want to develop and implement a marketing search plan to fulfill their career aspirations. Prior to relocating to Arizona, he was a volunteer at Saddleback Church Career Coaching Ministry for more than 10 years, specializing in personal branding. He is a SCORE mentor who works with small business entrepreneurs and a volunteer with us at Career Connectors. Greg provides a number of services free to our audience, and we are so thankful to have you here today. Please help me welcome Gregory Gaines. Yay!
Well, good morning, and thank you for inviting me. This is, hopefully this is going to be a lot of fun. Although the topic may be something that you've worked on, you've looked at before. These are kind of interesting times that we're in, and it's a good opportunity to take this opportunity to kind of relook at what you've done in the past to see how applicable it is moving forward. Next slide. I get a lot of people who say, you know, I don't like talking about myself. I don't like this term called branding. It feels like I'm doing something to other people, right? How many of you feel that way? Don't answer. I don't have time to look. But keep in mind that this is really about you and how you communicate your value to the marketplace. Next slide. So back to basics. It's an opportunity to revisit and refresh. Certainly, if you've done this kind of work before and you find yourself in transition again, it's okay to reassess, right? It's okay to see if the things that were driving you 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago are the same important things that you care about today in your search. Next slide. So, quick, who you are, understanding your value. We're going to focus on the messaging and the tools and the elevator pitch, of course, as the primary vehicle for communicating your messages. Next. So who are you? And I mean this in, next slide, the sense that the bigger you, not just you in job search, but you in terms of what are your values? What are the things that make you excited, that cause you to get up in the morning? What are your superpowers? And how do you differentiate yourself? These are things that they're all important in establishing who you are and what your brand is. And sometimes we don't necessarily prepare for sharing this information. It's really for you. It's not for your audience. Although I have to be honest with you, I was in an interview about 3 or 4 years ago with a CEO. We were talking about my consulting for them, and the CEO turned around and asked me, what is your superpower? And I'm like, I hadn't thought about it. I hadn't, you know, something came out of my mouth. I had one of those out-of-body experiences when words appeared, right? I heard something, but it wasn't on message. It wasn't something I'd actually prepared for. And the lesson here is be prepared, right? By the way, today you're going to hear some examples from my own personal journey, my own personal learnings. Lest anyone should think that I conducted the perfect search. In 2007, 2008, when I found myself in transition, I did everything wrong. I mean, if you could do it wrong, I did it. The good news is I was in an accountability group. I had an accountability partner. I got to practice, and I'm not sure I got better, right? But getting better is what the name of the game is. So my key message to you is learn from my mistakes. There you go. Next. So we're gonna spend some time talking about your skills and who you are relative to the elements that Bill Arruda pointed out in the last slide, right? What are your superpowers? What are your values? Now it's time to look at all of that in the context of what do I want to do? And if I'm contemplating a career change, how does what I did apply to what I want to do? So the question is, how do I take the soft skills? By the way, soft skills are things like your oral and written communications, teamwork and collaboration, critical thinking and problem solving. I look at my transferable skills, and oh, by the way, my transferable skills look a lot like my soft skills, right? But they're the skills that I have and that I've acquired that are germane not only to what I used to do, but they're germane to what I want to do. You know, by the way, personality, we have a tendency to kind of dummy down our personality. We're filling out resumes, we're doing profiles. LinkedIn provides the best tool available for you to express who you are. So don't be afraid to do that within the context of what you're trying to achieve. And of course, we're going to spend some time today on accomplishments. Next slide. So what changes? Not, you know, if you've done your assessment up to now based on what you used to do, and I'm recommending very strongly that you do an assessment of who you are and what you want to do, what you like, what you dislike. What changes occur if you're changing a job? If you're moving to a new function, you're moving to a new career, how is that going to be different? Because in the reality, your new career, your new function, the new industry, the same questions apply. What value do you bring to the marketplace? And how do you communicate that value in a way that gets people excited? It gets people to say, I want to hear more about who you are and what you do. So let's tackle it as an opportunity. Let's see it as an opportunity. Next slide. So you've done your skills inventory, right? You've looked at your soft skills, your technical skills, what you like to do, what you don't like to do, and you're starting to form your own kind of value proposition. This is what I think I bring to the marketplace. This is what I think I do really, really, really well. And maybe these are the things I don't want to emphasize. Now, an important step in this process is, do me a favor. Before you go to the marketplace with new messages that declare how good you are, how powerful you are, how great you are, validate some of those thoughts with people who know you in the workplace, people who've worked with you. And I took these questions from Tom Peters, who is a business writer who talks about branding. And they're particularly useful in getting people to hone their feedback in a way that is useful to you. So what adjectives would you use to describe me? So the purpose of these questions, whether you use these or some other set of questions, is get the feedback to be as crisp and succinct. I often ask people, give me one word that you would use to describe me. Give me one feeling that I evoke when we meet. Tell me what my biggest strength is, my greatest strength. One word. And as you collect this feedback from 2, 3, 4 people, start to see what the similarities are relative to how people view your strengths, how people describe you, and how you make people feel. So, by the way, let me digress for a second. When I was in transition, I decided to utilize this, test and validate my feelings about what I was taking to the marketplace relative to my messaging, right? I had come from a fairly successful sales and marketing position and had done unusually successful work in generating and meeting my goals. So I thought I was pretty bold in thinking, wow, looking back at my career, who wouldn't want to hire me? But I decided to kind of test this with the marketplace. And I got some interesting feedback, right? I didn't hear people say, wow, you reorganized the whole sales field team globally. And as a result of that, we were able to generate 60% improvement in revenue. Nah, I didn't hear that. Or, your marketing team has been so successful that we've done things that we've never done before. Nah, I didn't hear that either. So what did I hear? Well, Greg, you're pretty serious in the job, in the office. You don't really communicate a lot. You don't say hello. If I pass you in the hall, you just as soon look down than say hello to me. You're not very social. And oh, by the way, you don't smile very often. In fact, I heard that more often than not. You never smile. You never smile. So what did any of this have to do with my accomplishments, or at least the value I thought I brought to the marketplace? Well, it's pretty simple. Part of your new career and your new job is how you fit into an existing team, how you fit into an organization, and how you fit into a corporation. Your ability to fit, your ability to be social, your ability to be engaging and collaborative is part of what people may be looking for as they assess whether you're going to be a good fit for them. And I had forgotten, or maybe I hadn't done a very good job of being the inclusive, collaborative leader that I needed to be. So enough of my war stories. Next slide, please. Your value. So this is really about what value now do I bring to the marketplace. So how are let's look at the poll results, Sheila, if we could.
Okay, no problem. So in the polls, we asked, are you contemplating a career pivot? If so, are you considering a different function? We had 30% say different function. We had 42% of the audience say they're considering a different industry. 30% are considering a new career entirely. And 26%, none of the above. I want to keep doing what I've been doing. And before you tell me my math is wrong, I allowed people to check more than one box. So it sounds like some people are considering more than one avenue.
All right. So thank you for those results. Thank you for typing into the chat. Oh, by the way, I'd love to hear your elevator pitch or read your elevator pitch. So if you'd like some feedback, please enter your elevator pitch into the chat. So a lot of us are contemplating change. A lot of us need to kind of internalize that what got us here today may not get us to where we want to go to tomorrow, right? So looking at our skills, looking at our accomplishments, looking at our experience in context, the context being what we want to do, is even more critical. By the way, many of you have heard this expression, but accomplishments, past success, as an indicator of future performance. However, as I review resumes as a career coach, I read a lot of responsibilities in resumes. I don't get very many achievements, and I certainly don't get very many achievements that have some sort of measurable outcome. And why is that important? Well, I hire based on the performance of what you've done. I want to interview you based on how I think not only you're going to fit in this organization, but on the achievements that you've accomplished. As the potential hiring manager, I want to envision you working on my team. I want to envision you kind of helping me be successful. So the only way I can gauge that is through your accomplishments. Tell me what you've achieved. And the format's relatively simple. You know, it starts with an action verb, a task, and a result. An action verb might be I influenced, I led, I managed, I supported. When it comes to processes, maybe you created, you improved, you implemented, or you controlled. When it comes to products, maybe you designed, you developed, you implemented. This is the format, and I want to know what the results are. What result did you achieve? And if it's measurable, please put that in. So I run across a lot of people who say, hey, I achieved a lot of things, but I can't measure it. I'm a member of a team. I get my financial reports out on time, but I can't tell you what I achieved as a result of generating these reports. To which my response is the same. Did you get your reports out on time? Well, yeah, I did. Were they accurate? Yeah, they're always accurate. Did you help your department by completing these tasks the way you did? Well, yes, I did. Well, then guess what? There are some results there that you can talk about. And people will care about those results. If you don't tell them, they won't know. Next slide, please. Build accomplishments in context. So all I'm saying here is, if you've built your list of the things that you've accomplished throughout your career, and I often ask people to do that for one important reason. Build your accomplishment list, put it in the order of business impact. What was the business impact of what you achieved? And then make sure the accomplishments with the most impact are in your resume. Make sure the accomplishments with the most business impact are part of the story that you want to tell. And what's in that orange box that I can't see would be create a power story that talks about the problem you solved, the action you took, and the result that you created. All right, so let's sit back for a second. Power stories. I got to create stories. Well, I know you've heard this before, but stories are really powerful for engaging other people. It's the emotional engagement that we're after as a result of the creation of these stories. And if I am engaged emotionally, if I like your story, but more than like your story, I can see what happened. I can understand it in a way that I can't read off of your resume, then I'm more likely to want to know more. It's that simple. So accomplishments, critical element here. In context, tell the power stories. Why are we even talking about power stories in a presentation on elevator pitch? Well, all of this becomes ammunition, becomes content for how you want to communicate your elevator pitch. Next slide, please. So just a quick recap. You've talked about developing your value. We started actually with what's important to you. What are your values? What is your superpower? What are your goals in life? I forgot to mention, by the way, when I was doing my values exercise, I used a value deck of 72 cards that each had a value on it. And the exercise was I could pick 5 values and I put them on a table in front of me. And now I'm picking from the deck of the remaining 72 cards. And if they are more important to me than the first value that I have down as part of the 5, then I replace the one they're more important to. And if they're not, then I toss it aside. At the end of this drill, you'll have 5 values, maybe more, that are most important to you. And oh, by the way, there are some assessments that you can utilize to really get at your core value. Your core values are the ones that hypothetically don't shift too regularly. Understand your skills, prepare your power stories, ultimately create a strong brand message. And what are we going to do with all of this content that we've created? Next slide, please. Well, we're going to use them in our search tools. And I got so excited, my search tools disappeared. But let me just talk a little bit about what those tools are. They're your resume. Yes, you've got that. They're your social media profile. They are your networking bio. And if you don't know what a networking bio is, please put it in the chat and we can spend a couple of minutes talking about it. These are all the pieces of collateral. I call them collateral because I'm a marketing guy. But these are your tools. And once you've figured out what your strengths are, you figure out what your key accomplishments are, and you have your stories, then it's time to tell those stories. It's time to use that information and shout it from the mountaintop. And one of the ways we're going to use that information is in your elevator pitch. So, what is an elevator pitch? You probably already know, right? It's your introduction to someone else. It's how you introduce yourself. You're talking primarily about who you are, starts with your name, what you do, maybe how you do it, and who you do it for. Those are the elements of the elevator pitch. There are other things that can go in it, and as you're crafting it, writing it, speaking it, recording it, rehearsing it, you can decide, an elevator pitch should take 30 to 45 seconds. If you've heard the definition of the term, theoretically, you've gotten in an elevator with somebody who you want to meet, and you have, 15 seconds to the next floor? Maybe 30 or 45 seconds to whatever floor you're both getting off on? That's the time I have to tell my story. Interesting. Do I really want to tell my story, or do I want to create some interest that gets the listener to say, tell me more, right? So,
Hey, Greg.
yes.
I'm sorry. Would you mind taking a minute to explain what a networking bio is?
Yes,
Is
I
that gonna
would.
throw you off?
No. So I haven't seen them very much in my relocation to Arizona, but popular tool where I came from, popular tool that was espoused as part of Saddleback's career coaching and counseling ministry. It's a one-pager. It's a one-pager that has your content information at the top, maybe a career objective or position that you're looking to, you're searching for, it may have 4 or 5 accomplishment highlights, things that you feel are extraordinary about who you are, and you want to share that. It may have competencies. There may be a few competency in that, but almost always at the end is a list of target companies that you're interested in hearing more of. It's a list of target companies that you're interested in, and that list can grow. You know, it may start out with 10, 15, 20 and mushroom to 50. It's okay. So now that I've told you what it is, let me tell you how you use it. I used it as a fulfillment piece. I didn't give people a piece of paper when I met them one-on-one. And it's going to be a little hard to do that in a Zoom meeting, right? But when I wrote back to that individual for having a cup of coffee with me, I invariably said, thank you for meeting with me. And I'm looking forward to collaborating in the future. And oh, by the way, attached is my networking bio in case you want some more information about who I am, what I'm looking for, and some of the companies that I'm looking at. By the way, one other thing, I don't give my networking bio to people who are interviewing me. I am not, this is just for networking and sharing with people who are in search, people who may be able to refer you to a connection or a contact. Hopefully, I didn't take up too much time, but it can be an invaluable networking tool. So here are the do's. I think you've got the do's, right? This is all about preparation and practice. But the bullet down at the bottom, create a call to action, is really what I want to highlight, which is I've just introduced myself. I may or may not have spent, based on eye contact, if I've noticed that your eyes are rolling, maybe I want to cut this short, right? If I notice that you and I are having a hard time maintaining eye contact, maybe I'm boring you. Maybe it's time to go into the kind of close, which is, hey, I know this may seem like a lot, but may I give you my business card? Or may I connect with you on LinkedIn? Or do you mind if I called you and set up a meeting, a short meeting, so that we could learn a little bit more about each other? Keep it simple, but have an ask. And oh, by the way, just if you want to know some of the quirks that Greg has, asking me for something before I know you is pretty hard for me to commit to. And that happens to me all the time. If I've asked you, hey, how can I help you? You're free to tell me whatever, give me whatever input you have, right? But I haven't asked you, and I barely know you, it's a little awkward for you to be asking me for something. Therefore, get to know me first. You might find out that I'm a great guy, or you might find out that I'm not very helpful. All right, some don'ts, because there are always a few don'ts. Next slide. So don't slow down, right? It's the same kind of adrenaline rush that we sometimes get in an interview. Have you ever been in an interview? You've got a question, and the next thing you know, you are really racing to express all the words that are in your head. Have you ever had that experience where that angel on your shoulder says, Greg, too many words. Pause, breathe, do something, right? It's the same kind of feeling during an elevator pitch. It's conversational. It's casual. Don't speak fast or rush. Don't give me a lot of jargon. Don't force me to understand what acronyms you're using. I don't really want to know, but be prepared. Next slide. And of course, one of the things we're advocating here, the reason why we get up on Wednesday mornings to participate is to meet people, right? Is to network, is to share information about what you're searching for and who you want to meet and how you can add value. And more importantly, how can you help other people who are on this call? Next slide, please. Right. So we're going to talk a little bit more specifically. I haven't checked the chat to see how many of you have actually put your elevator pitch in there, but I hope you do. We'd love to kind of share if you want some feedback. So the first example, social media trainer, right? I use this slide a lot because it's pretty simple. People get it, right? I make social media easy to understand and to use. Call to action, give me a call if you'd like to talk about your LinkedIn profile. Seems relatively simple. I skipped, by the way, in all of these examples, I'm not leading with my name. By the way, when I was in transition and I was giving my elevator pitch, not only did I lead with my name, sometimes I would close with my name. Because if you're talking to somebody like Greg Gaines, at best, you're only going to remember 3 things. Keep that in mind. At best, you're only going to remember 3 things. And I generally only remember 1 thing. I'm in sales and marketing. I'm kind of trained to remember your name. And I do a very bad job. So I am going to take your business card because I do want to remember your name, because your name is how I start this process, right? I may forget what you do. I may forget what value you bring to the marketplace, but if I remember your name, I can follow up. Next example. So the sales rep. What you're not going to see in these examples, except for this one, is any reference to years. I have 10 years experience in gobbledygook. I've been in my industry for 25 years. So it's okay. If I'm starting out and I want to kind of cement my capabilities in experience and time, feel free to do so, but they're a waste of words. In an exercise where you only have 45 seconds, maybe a minute, because I've asked you to tell me more, find the words that don't add value. Telling me that you've been at something for 15 years, I'd rather have a proof point. I'd rather have some achievement. And in this case, she's been top sales 2 out of 5 years. Well, depending on that company, wow, that could be a big deal, especially if I'm looking for a sales rep. And oh, by the way, here's my business card. Next example, please. So this ask at the end, would you be willing to spend 15 minutes on a call, is the call to action that oftentimes makes sense in this kind of pandemic world that we're living in. Yeah, I'd love to have a Zoom meeting. Maybe a call is a good way to start this networking process. I'm really after a Zoom meeting where I can get to see you and you can get to see me. That's my ultimate goal. But starting with a call, excellent way to go. Next example, please. So this example is what I would call my gig worker example. I've been this, and I'm moving to something else. And I'd like to take my skills and experience that I've been doing elsewhere and apply it to you. I want to add this kind of value where I've been successful to your company. Next slide, please. Yes. As a former customer services rep, I successfully resolved problems with a high customer retention rate. Now, she could have said, I've been in customer services for 15 years, but not as powerful as this is what I've done as a customer services rep. And then the ask, would you be willing to meet for 20 minutes? Why? Well, I'd like to hear more. I'd like to hear more about you and your organization. I know that if I make you the centerpiece of my discussion, I have a greater chance of spending some time in sharing the details about me, as well as learning about you. Next slide. So we've come to the kind of formal end of the presentation about elevator pitch. And before I talk about tips, maybe let's go to the chat and see if there's anybody who's interested in having me read their elevator pitch.
So,
Here's one.
yeah, good.
Can I read it?
You bet.
All right. So look, I'm not here to comment on these. I want you to comment in the chat. I want you to give each other feedback. So it looks like Dixon. Hi, I have over 20 years in the health and wellness field, helping people who achieve healthy lifestyles. I am looking to move over to the public health realm. When could I reach out to you and discuss this more? All right. If you have feedback, tell me how you react to that elevator pitch and put your reaction in the chat. Sarah, I may get to yours next. What is your value proposition? Can you tell me more about what you do? Fair. I'd be a great asset to your organization. So this is really about preparation, practice, preparation, practice. But where do you get the practice? Well, you get to practice in forums like this. When you type in your LinkedIn profile, you can give me a sentence or two about who you are and what you want to do. And if I'm paying attention to the chat, I may just follow up. Yes, how did you help people lead healthier lives? You know what? I don't have to answer that as long as I can get you to ask me, gee, how do you do that? Tell me more. So it's all about tell me more. Give me more insight. So I'm going to go back to Rob. I lead large global transformational supply chain projects that ensures you have the right number of dots on the map and in all the right places. If you are doing a manufacturing acquisition or divestiture or want to save millions in supply chain costs and serve your customers more effectively, give me a call. Now, any feedback for Rob? By the way, every now and then, I'm curious how Jessica Pierce reacts to some of these. Nice pitch. This is great if I'm in that industry. That's a fun pitch. So, good detail. But if I'm not in your industry, do I want to know more? By the way, you can't plan for every potential scenario, right? So plan for the ones that you hope that you can manage or control. And what I mean by that is take the opportunity to share a card and ask, you know, that may sound a little confusing. I'd like to take 10 minutes and explain how I did what I did, right? I have one from Chelsea Martin. I am a leadership development coach who focuses on culture within your business. It starts with hiring the right people and building a selective hiring process, and ends with connecting your employees to the company mission so they want to show up to work for you every day. If you want to engage top talent and build your great employee morale, let's connect. So, good? What do you think? The feedback is positive? Thank you for sharing. Tell me about your hiring process. So, you know, the response, tell me more, is really what we're after. And by the way, your call to action, if you want to engage top talent and build great employee morale, let's connect. How about I call you and tell you a little bit more about the way we achieve the results that we do, right? You're not leaving it on to someone else to call you. You're taking the initiative and asking for permission to call them. And oh, by the way, connecting on LinkedIn is not a bad thing. Got it. Thank you for sharing, everybody. So let me wrap up before we go to more questions with a few tips. And these tips are more generic than specific to your elevator pitch. But you've done some work on honing your accomplishments and your skills. Make sure you use those keywords in your profile, not just your resume. Put them in every document that you can think of. I don't know about you, but have you ever been in a situation where the person you were talking to didn't seem terribly interested in what you had to say, right? Don't be that person. Listen, express genuine interest. And oh, by the way, can I tell you that psychologically, we've done some work on the neuroscience of what happens with regard to introductions. Your tendency is to listen for a pause so that you can say what you've already prepared. That means that you're likely not to hear the person you're talking to because you're practicing in your own head what you want to say, right? So that means that you've got to fight against being distracted and really listen. I rarely ever ask for help, but I will often ask for coaching and advice. Content is king. Be visible, be heard. By the way, I've talked about an accountability group. Maybe you have an accountability partner, or maybe you get 3 or 4 people who are on this meeting and say, hey, would you like to start an accountability group? If you'd like to know more about starting an accountability group, send me an email. And oh, by the way, it is important about who you know, but you want to know what else? It's important who knows you. Hey, thanks for taking the time to listen. I loved a lot of the feedback you provided. Really great. I'm here. I'm going to give you Sheila's going to give you a slide that shows you how to get in touch with me. I'd love to hear your story. And if you're part of the Career Connectors family, please engage. No fees involved. Thank you. Questions?
Thank you, Greg. I'm looking through here for questions. One that we've gotten a couple times on here about the program is we don't send out the PowerPoint slides due to intellectual property. However, this entire webinar will be posted on our website. On the homepage, I'm going to talk about it at the end, but on the homepage under the webinar section, we are also blogging this event. So all of the content that you just heard, the process, the information, the questions, we'll have that also posted in a blog, and usually takes a couple days to get that one written and formatted. Let's see if there were any other questions on here as we went by. There was some questions about the networking pitch, and so we dropped in a interview that I did with James Madison that will talk about some of that networking, the networking pitch. And so that's also out on our website under community resources. So Sheila dropped that in there. And is it advisable, Greg, to, when you're in a pitch, to ask somebody for a lead?
Good question. You know, it's not my style to ask until I get to know you. So I've had many examples where someone has said, I'm looking for a contact at this company. Great. But if I don't know you, and if you and I haven't built a relationship, I'm not likely to remember you from Jessica. So, you know, if you feel comfortable to ask, you know, it's not my style. I want to get to know you first. I want to know how I can help you before I ask you to do something. And you know what? This is too important to take it lightly.
Good. Let's see. Okay, I think that's it. So thank you so much for being here today. If you are online on video, this is how we clap in the virtual world. So thank you, Greg. Thanks. That's awesome. I need a picture of everyone doing this sometime. That was a good one. So thank you for being here, Greg. We'll have this all recapped and posted. We really appreciate your time today.
Perfect.
All right. So moving now over to our hiring company. We are excited to have CarMax here for the first time ever. And Richard is with us. He began his career at CarMax in Nashville in 2004 as a sales manager in training. And then he got a promotion to location general manager and led 6 CarMax store locations and supported the Baltimore region as a sales sustainment leader. Then last year, he and CarMax announced Richard's promotion and new role as Regional Vice President of the Phoenix Customer Experience Center. And as CarMax continues to expand omni-channel across the country, Richard oversees the operation and partnership with the CEC network, which is the Customer Experience Center, and to develop both an iconic customer and associate experience. He is married to his lovely wife of 15 years, and they share a home with 3 labs, Moose, Delilah, and Yeti. Love it. He loves anything outdoors and is enjoying new adventures all around Arizona, kayaking, biking, or going hiking. You are sure to find him enjoying our beautiful state, meeting new creatures along the way, and sharing some memorable stories. So please help me welcome Richard Busher.
Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I forgot to clarify that. welcome.
No, I appreciate the opportunity. I know some folks are probably wondering, what creatures have I encountered? I didn't realize of the magnitude of the different creatures. I'm from really the East Coast, but javelinas and tarantulas and all kinds of stuff out in the desert. So it's been a lot of key learnings for me. But first, I wanted to thank both Jessica and Sheila for letting us be a part of this amazing opportunities with Career Connectors. Thank you very much. And really what I wanted to do today is just chat with everybody about CarMax. We are new here to the Tempe area. We have a couple of our store locations around, but from a call center perspective, we're really new, and I wanted to share what CarMax is all about. Sheila, I'm trying to find the presentation.
If you click on your screen, you should be able to advance it.
Okay. Bear with me.
There,
Wonderful. There you go. That is that delay that we chatted about. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
there you go.
All right. So let me go ahead and get into it. A little bit about CarMax. We're the original used car industry disruptor. What I mean by disruptor is we have actually revolutionized the car buying experience. And we know that, look, folks have had some great opportunities buying vehicles, experiences, and then there's been some that have been maybe challenging. And what we wanted to do at CarMax is really create a process that is a world-class way for customers to purchase vehicles. We're the nation's largest retailer of used cars. What's unique about our location for CarMax is we have 210 stores across 41 states, as well as 5 call centers throughout the country as well. Top 10 used car loan originator. And what the loan originator is we actually own our own car auto finance, CarMax Auto Finance, are called CAF. And we are the top 10 in industry, pretty significant. We're number 173 in 2020 Fortune 500 companies. We have over 25,000 associates. And then the Fortune 100 best companies to work for 16 years in a row. And what I'm super excited about this is our associates take several surveys throughout the year. Fortune looks at our benefit packages and then all the opportunities we have for our associates. And we were actually ranked number 20 of 2020. So we're super excited with that. Our purpose, it's pretty simple: to drive integrity and being honest and transparent with everything that we do. And that's not only for our customers, but also for our associates as well. We have our core values, and it's do the right thing. We value integrity above all else. Put people first. We invest in our associates and provide a lot of opportunities for folks to grow within the organization. I've been very blessed with that as well, with my 16-year career with CarMax. Win together. We can't, it's a team effort. So remember I mentioned earlier, we have 210 stores, we have 5 customer contact centers. We all work together, and that's where it creates a team atmosphere. And then finally, go for greatness. We are the industry disruptor then and now, and we are always improving and innovating of how we can meet the future needs of today for the customers' needs of today and then tomorrow as well. Our milestones: we were founded in 1993. We've sold 830,000 cars last year, and we've sold over 8 million cars so far to date. We bought 8 million customer cars, and we sold 5 million wholesale vehicles. And folks might be wondering, what's a wholesale vehicle? Well, we buy so many cars. After we purchase a vehicle, we go through a pretty rigorous inspection process. And if a particular car doesn't meet our particular criteria, we actually wholesale those vehicles off. We have our own wholesale division, auction division. Local dealers buy them and then in turn put them on their lot and sell to their customers. So it's actually a win-win on both from small businesses to a great way for us to move some of our inventory that we certainly can't sell. The great thing about all that is 95% of purchasers say that they would recommend us to family and friends, and we're really proud about that at CarMax. We've been recognized as an employer of choice for both local and nationally. If you look towards your right, we have some of our accolades. I'd just like to share a few. Best places to work for millennials of 2019. We are very friendly to military, or employer of military for military families. And we also are 125 best companies from a training perspective, and we've had that for multiple years. And where that's beneficial to everyone here is that we do a very thorough, robust training for all of our associates. Community driven. So we have we call it CarMax Cares. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that every one of our locations in CEC centers, call centers, are committed to volunteering. So you'll see that 100% of our stores commit time to volunteer. We have actually granted over $60 million to local communities nationwide through our programs that actually associates care most about. I know here in Tempe, in our center, we've actually completed 14 activities from our opening. And one I want to talk about is really Kaboom. And what Kaboom is it's called Play Matters for All Kids. And it's a great program that we have partnership with, that we actually build playgrounds. And we go into particular areas of need, and there hundreds of volunteers will take place over a several-day process. And we want to make sure that if there's an unsafe playground, that we actually build a safe playground for our children. And we certainly know there's a benefit for children to be able to play in a safe environment. And that's what we're able to do. And so far, we've been actually able to build 60 playgrounds so far with Kaboom. Omnichannel. What is it about omnichannel? Well, 9 out of 10 of our customers begin their car buying experience online. So what does that mean? Well, I mentioned earlier that we are always innovating. We're always looking for, how does a customer want to buy a car for today and then tomorrow? So we are very unique in this industry, where we have our 210 stores where customers can actually go to one of our locations to buy a vehicle. You can actually buy one online, and many times we can actually deliver a vehicle at their home as well. So whatever the customer is looking for, we can actually meet that need. And then our Customer Experience Center opens in Tempe. So that's me there cutting the ribbon with our former mayor, Mark Mitchell, and some constituents and council members throughout the Tempe area. That was in December of 2019. We opened, and we had our official, if you will, grand opening, our ribbon ceremony on January 2020. And what was fascinating with this, we had probably 75 folks that visited us that day. And the overwhelming feedback from, we have such a beautiful facility here, have almost about 500 total of associates that we'll be able to employ here in the Tempe area. So we were super excited, had a great celebration with our CarMax grand opening. And then finally, we're hiring. So we're looking for 170 associates in this current location over the next few months. The positions we're looking for: customer experience consultants and customer experience associates. Now, customer experience consultants will perform all aspects of the car buying process for our customers. One note: you don't need automobile selling experience and/or sales experience. Actually, what we're looking for is somebody who has a passion for delivering great customer service for that particular position. And then customer experience assistants are folks that are helping customers out at all aspects, whether it's buying or maybe it's one of our customers that's looking for service. Again, no automotive experience or sales experience needed, just a passion to deliver amazing customer service. You can see that we have our link here on the site. Feel free to go into the link and learn more about our particular opportunities that we have. And the one thing I did want to cover, I didn't have a lot of time, but I put a link here. It's our benefits offering. If you hit our link, we have a tremendous amount of benefits, from full health care, from health, dental, vision, to 401k. We have tuition reimbursement. In addition to that, we have like pet insurance as well, but a slew of benefits. I urge you guys to take a look at all of the benefits. I'm sure we have a package for you. With that, that kind of concludes my presentation of CarMax. Hopefully I was able to answer a few things or share some things with CarMax, and wanted to see if there's any particular questions out there.
Thank you so much, Richard. No questions have popped up yet, but I know that you'll be on for the next few minutes. So if you have questions for Richard, feel free to pop them in the group chat, or you can do the private chat directly with him. And of course, connect with him on LinkedIn, and we put the links for direct to apply for any of your jobs as well. So I love the playground thing. That was awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for being here today. We really appreciate it. All right, we are moving over to Joseph. You guys, we are super excited. A regular question we get in at Career Connectors is, I have moved from a corporate position and I'm kind of on my own now, or I'm launching a business. And one of the biggest questions we get is about health insurance. And so we are super excited to have Aaron has come on board with us now to be able to answer those questions. So today we are asking Joseph to spend a few minutes and explain to us what he does and how he can help us. So he takes great pride in helping people. It's his passion in life. He's been running his own health insurance agency for over 2 years. He has been a leader on every team he's been on, whether it be school, sports, and in his career. And he loves helping people to become the best version of himself. We are so excited to partner with Joe, the Insurance Pro, via US Health Advisors. So please help me welcome Joe to the stage.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Joe, the Health Insurance Pro, Joseph Boussier here. USHA, US Health Advisors, is the #1 private health insurance company in the US. We've been #1 4 out of the last 5 years. So much so that we were bought by United Healthcare last October, and it's been fantastic. So I help individuals, families, and small businesses to find the proper health insurance based on their wants, their needs, and their affordability. I think what separates me from other people is when it's not a pandemic, I'm more than happy to sit down with people in person, show them numerous plans, talk about how the plans work for them during real life experiences so that they know exactly how they'll be protected. Now that the pandemic's in play, I do cover 27 states. And so what I do now is I do a screen share or video call, and we talk through the different plans. After people work with me and my team, they usually say, you know what, I understand my health insurance better than ever before because I've never been really walked through the plan and the different areas of the plan and how it actually works for me. So I love what I do. And if you're on COBRA, which a lot of people are these days, I usually have myself and my team and my company have better, more affordable options than COBRA. So we can help you with that. If you're an independent contractor and you run your own business, I can usually gain a better understanding of what your current coverage is and how we might be able to better that coverage for you. And then also, when you have a small business and you're looking to cover somewhere under 20 employees, there's some really creative ways that we cover people. Instead of giving everyone just a blanket plan where they have to choose from maybe 1 or 3 choices, we can customize the plans for each individual person. And if you're stipending the employees' paychecks, we can have that stipend stretch a lot further by customizing a plan specific to each employee. And then also, if you're on a group plan, at least the husband or the wife or significant other or life partner, and you have children, and it costs a lot more for those, the children or the significant other to be on that plan, we can find alternative options that can be more cost effective for your family and getting everyone taken care of and protected. So let me look here. I think I have some more information to share without a doubt. what I currently do is when I meet with people is just gain an understanding of the position that they're in and how that came to be. And then I ask them, what are 1 to 3 or 4 things that are most important to you when it comes to your health insurance? I take that information and members of my team we do research and figure out what are the best plans available based on what it is you're looking for in your plans. And then I have guaranteed acceptance plans that accept anyone and everyone. Also have more traditional plans, which have premiums, deductibles, co-insurance, and co-payments. And then also have access to health-based plans, which are underwritten plans that don't always have co-insurance or co-payments, and maybe have as needed deductibles based on what occurs in your health. Last but not least, I bring this information to you and share the top 2 or 3 plans that are best suited for your family, your small business, or you as an individual. And that allows us to talk back and forth. You can pepper me with questions. I can show you different aspects of the plan based on what your questions are. And then what I've also done is a lot of my clients believe in our plans and are willing to share their EOB's explanation of benefits on different things that they utilize the plans for. So I can show you real world examples of how those plans have protected people that are currently on the plan that we may be discussing for you, your family, or your small business. So if you know people that are on COBRA, people that are independent contractors, people that are small business owners, or people that just want to make sure that they're on the best plan at the best price that's suitable coverage for their family, by all means, I'm a free resource to all of you and anyone you choose to share my information with. And we will just, with a few questions and some conversation and some research, it allows me to make sure that you're either on your best plan, where I give you a virtual high five, or just give you some ins and outs of the plan so you understand it better than ever before. Some great demographics that we help more often than not are realtors, lawyers, dentist offices, doctor's offices, independent contractors, plumbers. I mean, just imagine how many different people run their own business more than ever before and need some sort of coverage or protection so that they feel confident that if anything goes sideways or happens out of the ordinary, or if they just want to make sure that they're staying in good health by getting their wellness checks, myself and my team are more than happy to help you guys out. And we do cover up to 30 states here in the US. So if there's any questions that I can answer, feel free to reach out to me. I'll put my information in the chat here again. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, Facebook, shoot me an email. Feel free to give me a call. I love a lot of the information that Gregory shared. I'm a huge fan of CarMax, and I'm greatly excited to be a business partner and a believer in Career Connectors, because I've watched them for a long time. I know a lot of people that they've helped. I know quite a few of their affiliates, and I think it's a great opportunity for all of us to help each other to be the best versions of ourselves and use the information that Gregory shared with us today to get ourselves out there and be more than just a person that you're connected to, but be someone that you can help yourself and help other people in some form or fashion.
Thank you so much. I have a quick question that popped up here about, let's see, it went up. Do you offer assistance with Medicare supplemental insurance?
Yes, the way I built my team out, folks, is we have access to just about every plan in the state of Arizona and the 27 to 30 states that we cover. And so I have a specialist in each area, and I do have Medicare specialists that are more than happy to answer your questions, share the options that are available to you, and guide you accordingly based on your wants, needs, and affordability and whatever it is you're looking to have it be educated on.
Thank you so much. We love that you came on as a partner with us. Thank you so much. And if you guys have any questions for him, he is available in any way you'd like to talk with him. Thank you again. Good to see you. Hey, Richard, I know you're on mute. I don't know if you can hear me. So he may pop back on here, but we had a question about remote opportunities and if CarMax is hiring, if positions are remote right now or if they'll stay remote.
Yeah, I'm back on. Thank you. Let me get my video on too.
There you are.
Yeah. Hello. Great question. Right now, some parts of our company are working remote right now. We are looking at remote options here from our centers. Right now, we're not currently exploring that. However, we are looking in the near future for potential remote. I will say that we have, certainly it's been challenging with COVID-19. We have provided a very safe working environment for all of our associates, following the CDC guidelines of social distancing and sanitizing and disinfecting within our facility. So we feel really comfortable of our working area. It's a beautiful work stop. So for folks that are concerned with that, I think they'll be very pleased that they come and visit our locations.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
Okay. Are you on LinkedIn, by the way?
I am not, no.
Okay. All right, we couldn't find you. Well, there you go. That's fine. Awesome, thanks. But we do have all of your other information, so we'll be able to reach you. Thank you so much, Richard.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to go through a couple things here. We'd love to have your feedback, you guys. Sheila's going to launch a poll, and in the poll, there's going to be 4 questions. If you could just answer the question, and then once you answer it, the question goes away. So the first one is already up, and we really appreciate this feedback. If you have additional feedback for us, feel free to shoot us a note at contact@careerconnectors.org. Some of the things we'd love to hear about are, what are some topics you would like to hear? You can even drop them in the chat here. We had somebody just private message me and ask about LinkedIn. We did a LinkedIn talk a couple weeks ago, and so that's out on our website. We also have done an interview, but LinkedIn is one of those topics that's always needed, so we're putting it into the rotation on a regular basis. But if you have any additional feedback for us, we would love to hear it. Companies that you are interested in, things like that, you feel free to email us. All right. These are the companies we work with, and so we have both our Premier partners and our corporate partners. Joseph, we just added you, so you're not on this slide yet, but you will make it there next week. So all of these partners are the ones that make this program happen, and so we are incredibly grateful. We could not do it without the funding. And especially over the last couple months, it's been extremely difficult, as I know all of you know. And so we are so grateful that this program has been able to continue. So thank you to all of our great partners. All right, here's a workshop we have been talking about. Christy Staub came out and spoke a couple weeks. You and Your Future. It's a career strategy workshop. She is offering it at half price. And at that, if you email her, she is scholarshiping at an additional 50% off. So it ends up being a very inexpensive program. So if you are interested and really want to dig into your career, reach out to her. christystaub.as.me/career-connectors is the direct link. We are, and Michelle, thank you for putting it into the chat box also. Okay. One of the companies that we've worked with during this pandemic has been Best Companies AC. They've been longtime partners, over 10 years. But what we did is we worked with them to find out all the great companies in Arizona that were hiring. And so on this website, on this resources page that you see listed here, we have confirmed and validated 65 companies that we know of that are hiring. Equates to thousands of jobs. And if you go out to the website, there is a direct link to their job board. Then we have also worked with Arizona at Work to validate hundreds more companies that are hiring. And that's on the bottom portion. Those are companies that they have validated. So the top ones are companies we've worked with that have come out to speak that we know. And then there's additional ones out there. So check out that resource. It's a phenomenal website with lots of data and information, both on the hiring companies and then resources during this pandemic and during this time. All right, so here's some additional information for you guys. If we have some resources here. If you have not taken our DISC assessment, go out and take that. Free resource for you. It'll tell you a little bit about your behavior style. We also are recapping the blog today. And so everything you heard Greg talk about and Richard and Joseph will be incorporated into this blog. And that usually takes us a couple days to get posted. But you can go back and see all the previous webinars we've done and events, live events as well. And so they are all blogged out there, tons of great content. I encourage you to check that out. I just want to, we've been keeping this one on here because we still get questions about photos. At our live events, we take professional headshots at no cost. Obviously not something we can do right now, but if you have ever gotten your photo and you need to go reference it, it's still parked on our photography site. So you can go check out the photos link if you need to get your photo from a previous live event. All right, that's all our social media platforms that we utilize. Check us out on LinkedIn. There's a great group there. And so companies post their jobs, resources, information on there. So make sure you're engaging in that group. And we also Facebook Live these events. And so if you have a friend that can't get on a Zoom call, then have them check it out on Facebook Live. And so here are the upcoming events. Right now, we are going every Wednesday through August. The schedule will change a little bit starting in September, but through August. Next week, we're doing Interviewing with Confidence with Carmen Payne. And then we're going to talk about, on the 26th, is a panel. We're so excited about this, you guys. So at our live events, we've done panels for different industries. And so we figured out a way to make that happen in a virtual environment. And so on August 26th, we're going to first focus on business services. So the finance and insurance industries. We're going to have, we know State Farm is going to be there. And so we're going to have eight hiring companies there that day, 4 in finance, 4 in insurance. And it's going to be an interview about the industry, about career pathways, about, how to work for a great company. That industry in Arizona is one of the top 5. Those are top 5 industries. They're growing, they're blowing up even in the pandemic. So look for more information coming on that. And then on September 2nd, we are bringing Marlene Lundy in. Actually, she's a friend of mine that I've known for, 15, 20 years. We worked together at Intel when we both became DISC certified back in the day and did a lot of that work at Intel. But that DISC that we offer at no cost, we encourage you to go take it before September 2nd, because she's gonna really dive into understanding you and the value you bring. It's so important that we understand our value. So many of us are sitting at home. Maybe some of you are feeling trapped. I know even personally, I feel trapped sometimes, but we get into this mode where we maybe hear no, and it starts to weigh on us. Like, am I good enough? Or why am I not getting a next job? And so we want you to know that you do bring value. We want to remind you of that. And so we're going to dig into that a little bit on September 2nd. So I hope you'll join us for that. All right. So here is the website I talked about. So careerconnectors.org, and there's 3 sections right in the top fold. I'm doing about 2 times a week a career chat. And so this is a little bit of content about job search, just tips. And then, whatever's going on in the community, I'm trying to get out unemployment information there. Whenever we find out about the next stimulus package, hopefully it's soon, but that information will be in there. And so I'm doing those updates a couple times a week. And then we're doing the Career Connectors community updates. And so earlier we referenced an interview I did with James Madison. That's in there, and that's around the networking piece and the marketing piece. And we have resume writer interviews there. We have LinkedIn interviews there. So tons of content in there for you. And then the third box is our webinars. And so all of these all the virtual events that we've had since end of March are posted in that. subscribe to our newsletter. If you've registered for this event, you will start to get the newsletter, or you should be getting the newsletter. But if not, get our e-updates weekly on Monday mornings, and it'll tell you about the events that week and what's happening in through Career Connectors. All right, we have these amazing volunteers. We even have a new one. Yeah, I know. If you could just like clap for all our awesome volunteers. Raise the roof. They're so good. We even have, I think Tina is the one today doing closed captioning. Is that right, Sheila? Tina's yeah. So what she's doing is she's transcribing everything that's going on and everything we're saying. I mean, I'm sure her fingers are going to be tired today, but that's the kind of things our volunteers do. They're phenomenal. Susan has been with us forever. Michelle, thank you so much for serving. We work with the Resume Writers Council of Arizona, many coaches. We just really appreciate all that you guys do. Thank you so much. All right, let me see, make sure I captured everything I wanted to say today. Okay, I did want to make an ask. So if you know anyone, and most of us do, but anyone that's looking for a new job, I would really appreciate it, and we would really appreciate it, and so would they, if you could give our information to them. Let them know about Career Connectors, maybe let them know if it's been helpful to you. But because we're virtual and because we're regularly virtual right now, we are able to serve a lot of people, and we want to be able to do that. And we want to be able to be here and be a resource and fill people with hope that are sitting at home and not sure what to do next. So please either share our stuff on social media, send careerconnectors.org link to somebody and say, hey, check this out. I'm attending next Wednesday. You might want to attend with me. So we'd really appreciate that. Thank you all for being here. We hope you have an amazing week. We hope we make some great connections this week, and we are praying for all of you that you land into the career of your dreams. Thank you so much for being here.